Alright, so in this video we are gonna basically start out by setting up the mail verification. So let's go in and say PHP artisan make mail verify email. And while this is running, we can then go in here and basically go in and add the necessary things. So we want to return a view first of all, which we're gonna call emails verify email, and then we want to create something in here. So we want to have the address variable, which is where we're gonna get it from. So this is the email address you're gonna send from. In this scenario, we are gonna use one from MailTrap. We're gonna set that up a bit later. And then the name, in this case, we can just call this Matilde. And I wanna basically go in and add some spacing here. And then I wanna go in and say subject can be verify your email. And then we basically go in here and want to get the authenticated user, which we will do by basically passing in the user details from when you register the user. So we're going to do that in just a second. Alright, so what we want to do now is we want to basically go in and set in a user here, and then in the constructor we will set this user is going to be equal to user, and then we want to go up and create a protected user that by default would just be equal to nothing. And then we can basically go in here and say user is just going to be called user. So that means we're going to create a variable called user. Sorry, we need to call it this user, of course. So what we can do now is we can basically go in our Muse, and then we go in here and create a folder, and we can call this emails. Now, in this course, we are only going to have one email as far as I'm aware of, so that means you could call it email, but if you want to send more than one type of email, you should probably have it in plural, to just make it more logical. Then we got to call this verify email.blade.php, and then in here we can basically go in and put in some text. So to start with, we can go in and say something like paragraph, welcome to this social network, please verify your email address by clicking this link. Now this is not going to be styled because this is first of all really easy to style. It's just putting in a style tag of CSS file. Now, do you notice that if someone has the email downloaded and you have an external CSS file and it's offline, for example in a flight, the CSS will not be loaded, depending on the email client. I'm not that much into that, but just so you won't, that maybe styling in inline CSS in the header would be more appropriate in this case. So what we can do now is say href, and then we can basically go in here and we can close this a tag here. Now what we can do now is we can basically go in and get from the blade file, we can get the user, and then we want to get the ID, and then we want to basically go in here inside the ID, and we want to get the user / username, because what we're going to do now is we basically going to go inside here and put in the app name. So here you should obviously put your domain name to make it more dynamic, but in this case we're just going to make it pretty simple as a starter. And we can also go in here and basically say something like strong, and then user name, and then go in here, and then we can end this with a paragraph. Put a paragraph here, change this to a div tag and this to a div tag too. And then we can go in and put a paragraph here. And here too. Okay, great. So now you have basically going in here and you have the username, and we have as well the unique link to verification of the email. So let's go in here and also add in verify email, and then put it in like this. So now this will basically go in here, and if you in this scenario have verified your email, it will just do nothing. But if you haven't verified your email, you'll go in here and do this. Now we could make this more secure by creating a token, and if you wanted to do that, what you could go in and do is you could go in when you register the user, use something like a hash function to then generate a random token. But in this case, we're gonna go more simple because this is gonna be a really long series. So instead of creating really advanced functionalities, I would rather leave you to researching how to do it, because I'm gonna take too much of your time simply by creating all of the functions on a really advanced and high level. And I will try to keep this course as short as possible. Now, what we can go in now and do, which we will do in the next video, the reason why I'm splitting this up so many times, and sorry about that, is because these videos are gonna be really long and I want to keep the videos shorter, because I have a feeling about that you prefer shorter videos. But if you prefer longer videos, let me know and I will be happy to make a change to that. So what we're going to do in the next video is we're going to basically go in and first of all, when you register in the register controller, set in this verification of the email, and then here we're then going to pass through this user variable we have here inside there, and then we will basically get the ID, we will get everything we need. And in that way we will first of all do this when we have attempted to create the user. So what we can actually do here is, just to be sure there will be no errors at all, we can just go in here and say if user, because we need to make sure this variable is completely fine. And then we can go in and create an else statement here and basically go in and return this here. So I'm gonna format this, and I'm just using this one here. If you want to get a video about how to install several plugins or models to Visual Studio Code so you can have more efficient coding, let me know. And then we basically will go in here and send the email. So that's actually all for this video. In the next video we're going to do something very briefly, which is going to be sending the email, which is just going to be calling the function in here, and then we are going to test through the register function with sending the email, see if it gets sent via mail trap. We are going to go inside and add the email inside the verify email here, and then we are going to go in as well and make sure that the update and the change password function works. So in the next video it's going to be mainly testing. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video. And please hit the subscribe button, click the bell button if you want to get notifications about when I create new videos for this series. And if you like the video, hit the like button.